Family. For some, it is the shelter that keeps us safe from the storm that tears into us, draining us of our life. For others, it is the storm. Her name was Sylvia Likens, and I am her witness. She was 16. Those who knew her described her as friendly, confident, a lively girl with long, wavy, light brown hair extending below her shoulders, earning her the name Cookie. She was a good girl, to whom if you passed her on the street, you might smile. Gertrude Baniszewski, mother to 7, 3 times her love lost to rage and abuse. Her life was not her own by choice or design, although they were not family in the strictest of sense. They would soon become as one, though if only for a moment's single breath. Sylvia and her sister Jenny moved into Gertrude's home following her mother's arrest for shoplifting. They would pay her a monthly amount, and Gertrude told her parents she would treat them as if they were her own children. At first, all was well. But then, when payments were late, though only 1 or 2 days, Gertrude would beat them the buttocks with various instruments, including a wooden paddle. One time they were beaten about the back with a wooden paddle 15 times after Gertrude's oldest accused them of eating too much food at a church supper. After that, Sylvia was the focus of Gertrude's abuse. Her prime motivation, jealousy of Sylvia's beauty. Each time Sylvia would admit to a happiness in her life, she was delivered a punishment tenfold. Beaten, refused meals, forcing her to eat discarded, rotten food. Soon, the hate spread throughout the household like a forest fire. It even extended past the walls, into the homes that lined the neighborhood streets. Neighborhood children beat her, used her in violent judo sessions, lacerated her body, burned her with lit cigarettes in excess of 100 times, and severely injuring her genitals. She was kicked, force-fed a hot dog, and after vomiting, was forced to eat this as well. Gertrude's daughter Paula beat her, the blows focused upon Sylvia's teeth and eyes. Gertrude's son, John Jr., rubbed urine and feces from the diaper of his 1-year-old brother into her mouth. Even Sylvia's sister was forced to strike her after being threatened if she did not comply. The girls were forbidden to contact their family at threat of death, and even when their family did visit, There was no sign of abuse, physical or otherwise. By this time, her mother and father had reunited and returned to their work on the traveling carnival circuit. Ironically, concern for their daughter's safety and education in such an unstable environment kept them from removing the children from Gertrude's home. Following complaints of Sylvia's condition, as well as a school investigation, Sylvia was no longer permitted to attend school. The beatings grew worse, more frequent, and more varied. She became incontinent, kept naked, barely fed, deprived of water, tied to the railing of the basement in rack fashion. Neighborhood children were charged 5 cents to see her humiliate, beat, burn, and mutilate her. October 22nd. The end was coming, but not yet. That morning, Sylvia woke, the bed damp with urine. In response, Gertrude screamed.
You branded my children, so now I'm going to brand you. Sylvia, what are you going to do now? You can't get married now. What are you going to do?
I guess there's nothing I can do. Jenny, I know you don't want me to die, but I'm going to die. I can tell it.
October 25th. A failed rescue attempt. A forced feeding. Beaten unconscious. Night falls. Screaming. Neighbors heard, but as it ended at 3 a.m., police were not contacted. October 26th. Beatings. Forced feedings. Pain. Death. At the autopsy, they found 150 separate wounds, varied in location, nature, and severity. Extreme emaciation, severe bruising, extensive muscle and nerve damage. Official cause of death was a subdural hematoma due to a severe blow to her right temple. Contributing factors were severe and prolonged damage to skin and subcutaneous tissues and severe malnutrition. Gertrude, found guilty of first-degree murder, sentenced to life, paroled after 20 years, died of lung cancer in June 1990. She never took responsibility for her crimes, claiming she couldn't remember. Paula, found guilty of second-degree murder, conviction overturned on a technicality after 7 years, causing her to plead guilty to voluntary manslaughter rather than face a retrial. Paroled 1 year later, released completely 2 years following. Aside from her mother, she was the most active participant. Stephanie admitted to limited participation, but due to testifying against her family, all charges were dropped. John, an active participant at 12 years old, convicted of manslaughter, served 2 years before his release, died of cancer at 52. Shirley, the youngest member to actively participate in Sylvia's torture. She was never charged. James, 8 years old, no charges, despite reports of participation. Coy, Stephanie's boyfriend, an active participant, convicted of manslaughter, serving 2 years before his release. He remained in the Indianapolis area until his death in 2007. Richard helped to carve the words into Sylvia's back. Convicted of manslaughter, served 2 years, died of cancer in 1972. All the rest of the neighborhood participants were released without charge. I leave all this with one question. If so many regarded this as the worst crime ever committed in their state, why were there so many participants? Some gleeful, others silent. Rest in peace, Sylvia Likens. You are beyond their reach.